Well, I'm back. Back in El Clasico, the old room, the old poorly AC'd room. It is extremely hot in here. It's so hot in here. But regardless, that's not going to disdain me from talking about what I want to talk about. Because this story, honestly, is one of the craziest ones that I've ever read. And it has to do with our good old pal, Disney. Yes, non-controversial Disney is back in the limelight. So what did Disney do this time? What's the horrible atrocity that they managed to do this time? Well, it's definitely one of the crazier ones that I've read. Unfortunately, it has to do with one of the deaths of one of Disney's patrons, a good old customer, and Disney's response is borderline evil. So the story goes a little bit like this. A couple of days ago, a man and his wife went to Disney in order to eat at one of their restaurants. And this was a restaurant that, they researched a lot because the wife had really severe food allergies with dairies and nuts. And so it was a really, really big deal, but this restaurant that they were going to had a really, really good reputation and when it came to, checking out for allergies. However, a mistake was made and she was given a meal that had food allergens in it, and then she unfortunately lost her life. Now, the husband, in response to that, of course, after going to a restaurant where they made very, very clear that, the wife had allergies, then tried to sue Disney. The problem is that Disney claimed that no, you can't do that. You cannot sue us. You want to know why? Because there's actually a clause in that, nifty old Disney Plus thing that you've got. And essentially it says that you are not allowed to sue. And instead, if you want to, get something done, you're going to have to go through arbitration, which is, third party. Which is shocking. It is an incredibly shocking thing to hear about. There's a lot of people out there who talk about, you've got to be sure to read your subscriptions and, whenever you click, yes, I agree to terms and services, you need to be very careful and read through all of it. And, from a legal standpoint, that makes sense, but to, the average everyday Joe and schmuck, it's, over 100 pages or something ridiculous that people, they're never going to read that, but they have this nice, nifty little box that says, yes, I agree, because we're working on a good faith system that you're not going to put something too terrible in there that's going to make you do something ridiculous. And Disney has just proved that companies absolutely can do something ridiculous, and they have. But that is so shocking to me, because this was a major failure on the side of this restaurant, and by extension, Disney. The thing is that they went into this restaurant, and they made very, very clear that, hey, my wife has an allergy to dairies and nuts. It's very important that she doesn't have it in there. And it's not like they didn't hear them. Multiple times they acknowledge, yes, we know your wife has allergies. And then once they got the food and it didn't have the flag that marked it as, an allergy-free meal, they again asked, hey, does this thing have any allergies in it? Because my wife has a very, very severe allergy problem when it comes to dairies and nuts. And again, they responded, no, there are no allergies in this. You can eat this. You'll be fine. And then not even an hour later, she started to have her reaction. And then even though they had EpiPens, it still didn't do anything because the reaction was so severe. And then she unfortunately lost her life. So to say that that is not Disney's fault is just shocking. Because it's 100% Disney's fault. Because this restaurant, it's, on their property. They work by Disney rules, by, the Disney government that's there and their Disney resorts. So Disney is 100% in the limelight and is 100% in normal circumstances, they should be sued. But because of this Disney Plus, I guess they're not able to, which has been, called into speculation as to whether they're even legally allowed to do that, which some people say that they can't. What's really tragic is that this restaurant is known for being, allergy free and for being really, really careful about making sure that people don't eat anything that's going to give them an allergic reaction. And this is just a very, very massive screw up by this restaurant and by Disney. But to say I'm surprised, I think would be a little bit disingenuous because Disney has been kind of showing their colors as to what kind of company they really are. And that's a greedy company. They love money. They can't get enough of it, even though they have billions and billions of dollars. And there was a tragic story a while ago when there was this young boy who unfortunately lost their life, unrelated to Disney. But what he wanted to do was that he wanted to have Spider-Man on his tombstone. To which Disney, in their infinite wisdom and, being the place that is the happiest place on earth and known for making dreams come true, shut down that idea cold. To the point where they were threatening to sue, the parents of the child who recently passed away and saying that, no, you can't do that. And if you do that, we're going to sue you out of money. which is an incredibly screwed up thing to do. And so this is something that's not exactly new to Disney. They are willing to stoop to absolutely astronomical levels in order to make sure that they get money, or they don't miss out on a chance to get money or keep money. And going back to the claim that they can't sue because of, you know, the Disney Plus agreement, the counter argument has already been made that, well, while the husband had the Disney Plus account, the wife did not. So technically, is that even allowed? If somebody that doesn't have the Disney, you know, Plus account, and they end up losing their life and they go through all of that stuff, would they not be allowed to then sue? All in all, there really isn't a whole lot of leverage in terms of Disney in regards to the Disney Plus agreement, because that claim that you can't sue because of Disney Plus, even if it is there, which I'm sure it is, can that even work is the thing. But the really unfortunate truth, though, in regards to this entire situation is that this is something that Disney is likely not going to let go, and this is something that they will probably continue to fight because they have the means to do so. Legal fees are massive. They stack up the longer things go on, and Disney, you know, with their mucho moolah, theoretically could continue to fight this for months and months, because not only do they have, I'm sure, really good lawyers, but they also have the money to pay those lawyers. It really comes down to how much of an ass Disney's going to be about this entire thing. I can't see a world where this isn't Disney's fault. And there are some people who are trying to defend Disney because they are Disney kids and that is all they know. And listen, I like Disney stuff, but still, you can't look at this and not 100% see that all of that blame is shifted directly to Disney. And even Disney's trying to distance themselves away from the restaurant, saying that, well, that's actually not Disney, it's actually the restaurant. They're just on our property. I mean, there's not much we can do about it. It still doesn't matter though. It is a restaurant that is on your property. It is practically Disney owned, and by extension, you have a lot of the blame, that happens to anything that happens at this restaurant, because you technically are their landlord. All in all, this is just an incredibly messed up story. I hope that I hope the husband gets justice for his wife. I hope that, people start opening their eyes to some of the things that Disney does and has done in the past. I think it's becoming more and more abundantly clear just how messed up Disney can be, or whether that just be through unfortunate incidents like this, or even with, how they treat their staff and other things of that nature. It's just not looking great for Disney. Nothing's going to happen to Disney, unfortunately, I don't think, because they just have an ungodly amount of money that they can just keep pouring into things and pouring it in and pouring in. And so the war rig that is Disney, I don't think is going to go away anytime soon, but I think their reputation might be taking a little bit of a hit because of this. But, people are people. People are sometimes weird. They might still swear allegiance to Disney months after this thing is over. But all in all, I just wish the best for this family, and I hope they get just some semblance of justice. But that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, if indeed you still are. My name is Brockster. I bid you all adieu.